Hello, kids. As you know, one of the projects that you have to do this week is an inquiry project for our boundaries unit. So your job is to create a map. If you click into the inquiry folder, you'll see the project information sheet here, the Boundary Summative Project. You'll open it up and you'll see that everything that you need to do for the project is written right here in front of you, okay? We've got this acronym GRASPS that the teachers use, and it stands for the goal, the role, the audience, the situation, the product expected, and how do you know if you're doing well, the standards and criteria for success. So that's how we organize telling you about the project. The project's called a cartographer's gallery. That's a map maker's gallery. Your goal is that your task is to create a map that shows the audience your understanding of how physical and or political boundaries help determine identity of a place. So big idea, you're creating a map. Your role is you're a cartographer, a maker of maps. You get to make a map related to something you are passionate about or something important to you. Now, it doesn't have to be something you're passionate about or something important to you, but if you want it to be something that you really love or about something you really love, then you can do that. For example, if you're a huge baseball fan, you could create a map of the Hall of Fame, which is in Cooperstown, New York. And that could be something that is like a passion project for you. If you really love cats, you can imagine your own cat world and make a map of cat world. It's up to you. If you just want to make a map of your neighborhood because you want to show what you know and make sure you meet all the expectations of the project, then you can do that. It doesn't have to be that deep. Your audience is your fellow cartographer classmates, so all the people in your class. If we were doing this in real life in person, we would be visiting the different maps that you make. Some people last year made their maps out of Legos, some people made them out of clay, some people made it out of paper, and I'll show you some resources for some really cool ideas here in a minute. If we were doing it in person, we would go around visiting these things, but I do encourage you to bring them in, and we will set them around the classroom, but it's going to be a very, very restrictive way of viewing the final projects. At a minimum, you're going to upload a picture of your map into a gallery that or a media folder that I create. Right now, there's no due date for this project. I encourage you to use your time this week to finish the project. However, if you need more time than just this week, then you will have that time. The situation is we are going to have a cartographer's gallery featuring the work of our upcoming cartographers, which is you, and the product that's expected is you have to create a map of your choosing. You can create any of the following: a map of one region of the USA, a map of another country, a map of our school and school neighborhood, a map of a place you would like to visit or where you want your flat Stanley to go, a map of a city or country entirely dreamed up by you, or some other kind of map that you get cleared with your teacher. So if your map that you want to create isn't on this list, then shoot me a little Schoology message, and I'll discuss your idea with you, and you can move forward after I give it the go ahead. Most likely I'll be giving it the go ahead. So how do you know if you're doing well? That's the standards or how meeting the expectations for the project, the standards and criteria for success, okay? The map you create will be graded by a checklist. Look at the back side of this information sheet to see what each map must include. So this was designed as a hard copy piece of paper. The second page is actually right here. So you're looking at the second page to see, how do I know if I'm doing a good job? So you use this checklist for the maps in your final project for our boundaries unit. Listed are the minimum standards for reaching the expectations. To exceed expectations, we're looking for superior neatness and organization in addition to going above and beyond for several items on the checklist. Your map must include an informative title, labels and symbols to locate and identify physical and political features like rivers, lakes, roads, mountains, museums, community centers, churches, farms, etc. Your map must include a compass rose showing the cardinal and intermediate directions. So we've had lessons on these things. Cardinal directions are north, south, east, and west. Intermediate directions would be northeast, southeast, southwest, northwest. And your map also must include a legend, which is a map key that shows the meaning of all the symbols that you use on your map. So your map's going to have to use symbols, and those symbols are going to have to be included in a map key. So here are two questions that you should be able to answer with your project. So these don't have to be on the project, they can be, but you should be able to explain them when asked, when these questions are asked to you. So how do boundaries on the map you created influence the identity of that place or the people in that place? For example, if you made a map of Colorado and you included the Rocky Mountains in Colorado, one of the boundaries there are the Rocky Mountains, and I would maybe ask you, how do those Rocky Mountains influence the identity of Colorado, people in Colorado, or Colorado as a state? Well, you'd say the people there often like to visit the mountains and go skiing, and it's part of their culture to visit the mountains, and that might be a reason why some people move there. And the second question is, how does the map that you chose to create, I'm sorry, I'll start over. How does the map you chose to create show your personal identity? So why did you choose to do what you did? If you made a map of a cat kingdom, why did you choose to make that map of the cat kingdom? Do you really love cats? Do you have this story about cats in your mind that you wanted to sort of play out with the map that you created? And so this is just a question about, why did you do what you do? Okay, so we've got suggestions for materials here. Any materials can be used to create your map. Here are some materials that you may already have around your household. You might have Legos, you might have recycled boxes like cereal boxes or shoe boxes, you might have clay, you might have building blocks, you could have bottle caps, recycled paper, containers. I don't want you to limit yourself to this. These are just things that you might add to your map to make it more interesting. We've had a lot of very creative maps for this project in the past. Now, I do want to show you a Schoology link here to Miss Roth's media assignment for this week. Now, our media day, she's got it set up for Wednesday the 14th, but I'm going to recommend that you check it out today. The reason is so go into the Related Arts folder, and when you go into the media folder, Miss Roth, she saw that we were doing this project this week, and so what she did was she uploaded a whole bunch of, so go into the asynchronous assignments for Wednesday, October 14th, but you don't have to worry about Wednesday, October 14th. I'm recommending you go in there today. And so she's got instructions here. She says, I know that you have a big mapping project to work on this week, so I thought I would share with you some resources I know of connected to mapping. One, there's a read aloud of Yuri Shulevits's book inspired by his real life, How I Learned Geography. That's right here. Check this out. Open it up. Listen to the read aloud. Then she gave several links to videos of famous artists with autism that draw spectacular maps. So autistic mapping expert Stephen Wiltshire. And here's an interview with Stephen Wiltshire. Watch these videos. You might become inspired in your mapping project. Here is Seth Twast's Manhattan swimming map. Here is a short documentary on Seth Twast. Okay, and here are illustrations and other cool maps from books that Miss Roth found for you. So I want you to look into these videos and watch these things before you get started, unless you have a super clear idea about what you want to do before you even start. But this is an open-ended project, and that's what we do at our school. We really want you to have voice and choice in the work that you're doing. And we want you to show a few things that you've learned along the way, but we really want your personality and your identity to come out in this project. So make sure you understand the assignment, look at all of these awesome links and resources, and then start brainstorming an idea. for your project and go ahead and get started. Again, I'm going to recommend that you do the project this week. There is no technical due date on the project. However, I will tell you that we are going to start looking at these maps next week live in person. And so it's going to be nice if we have some of your maps coming in to school on Monday next week. Or if you're a virtual learner, you can post a picture of your map into the media album that we're going to put up for this project. But it is the final project of the unit. There will be some language on your report card related to this in the next report card. And so it is a serious assignment. It is required. Even though there's no due date, we want you to have as much time as you need to create something super duper awesome. So good luck, and I hope you enjoy this project.